Welcome to Safe and Sound, sponsored by White Mountain Fire and Life Safety. Today on the show, we have John Zimmerman, the Deputy Director, and Janelle Lynn, the Public Health Nursing Supervisor for Navajo County Public Health Service District. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
I'm so glad to have you on the show today. I wanted to bring you both on here to discuss Public Health Week, and basically Navajo County is turning it into a Public Health Month in a way by being on the show and letting everybody know the programs that we have and what we do. So, John, I want to start with you. What do you do for the Public Health Department?
Well, Allison, as you mentioned, I'm the Deputy Director, and I oversee a bureau. The Health District has two bureaus, and the one that I'm over is Emergency Preparedness, and has a number of programs that help benefit the county. Janelle, she's a nursing supervisor for our nursing program, and many avenues of providing health for the nurses exist. We have animal control, which looks at zoonotic diseases. We have the Office of Medical Examiner that helps find and discover the purpose or reason of death and help people, grieving people and family, come to terms and process those things. We have our environmental health services. We have emergency preparedness. And so those are some of the areas that we look at.
Oh, wow. That's a lot. Now, you said that your bureaus, and there's two bureaus. What is the other bureau?
The other bureau is the Public Health Bureau of Education and Services. The education are the programs that go into schools, that go into businesses, that go into some of our social clubs around the county, as well as our detention centers and some of different types of homeschools and other type of schools where we provide education, whether it's to children, to parents, to adults, and a variety of topics. The other part is services. Women, Infant, and Children program, one of my favorite, helps provide nutrition to make sure that the mothers and their children are well cared for. And another one is Vital Records, where we help provide birth certificates, death certificates, things like that, to people who need them for processing for whatever their needs are.
So the Public Health Department has a broad spectrum of programs.
A lot of different programs, yes, we do.
That's awesome. And as you're mentioning them, I'm like, I use that one, I've used that one, I've done this one. And then we had you on the show recently, last month, to talk about the shots and vaccines, which you did a great job with. By the way, I've watched it. It was great. And then what else do you, what do you do, if you don't mind saying that again, even though it's last month?
Under the Nursing Services Division, we have an HIV program where we offer HIV testing and counseling. We have an STD program where we offer STD testing and counseling and treatment for some STDs. We do infectious disease investigations, so all of the reportable infectious diseases are required by providers and laboratories to be reported to their local health department, and then we go out and investigate those diseases, determine how the person may have contracted the disease and what we can do to stop the spread of illness. We have a family planning program which provides pap smears and birth control to women who don't have insurance but make too much money to qualify for access or Medicaid type programs.
Wow.
And as well as the immunization program.
Because you just said that makes too much money to be on access, because I always thought, well, how does anybody take care of those people? How are they able to provide something like that for themselves? If they can't have not enough to get insurance for themselves and not enough to get insurance by access, they're kind of without a paddle.
So we have that stopgap coverage that allows them to be able to have contraceptive and well women health care services if they don't have insurance, but they make too much to qualify for access.
Now, you guys have discussed a little bit about the Bureau of Emergency Preparedness, and how does nursing play a role in that with the Bureau?
We're under the umbrella of the Bureau, but one of the programs in the Bureau is bioterrorism and emergency preparedness. And so we as nurses work really closely with that. Our nurses go through special training so that we're prepared to help in the event of a disaster or an emergency. Anything from an infectious disease outbreak, and we can help by setting up clinics to assist in max vaccines and things like that, from, assisting to setting up shelters if we were to have a wildfire. There's just a broad range of things that we can do to assist that program. So we work very closely together as far as being trained, doing drills and different preparedness techniques so that when and if something arises, we're prepared to help assist with that.
And then, John, the programs that you mentioned, how are they involved in bioterrorism? Because I know you've, like the medical examiner, he goes out and he finds things, but if something, what would include him?
One of the role of the Office of the Medical Examiner is to discover the reason of death. What is the cause of death? And so if someone has a heart attack or has illness, we check those things out. But one of the reasons is to find out, is there something going around such as a disease? Is there a virus going around that we need to be aware of? Sometimes the first times that come up and we become aware of those things is when someone passes. And so we take each death seriously in the county to find the exact cause of death. And so if there's a virus spreading around, sometimes they're the first. It may take a while before our nurses get back from our state labs getting the results of someone. So between what's going on in the environment, what's happening with animals, what's happening with people, what's happening with the labs, we take all that data and we pull it together and it creates a picture. And that tells us where we're at, what's happening in our world in Navajo County.
Oh, that's awesome.
Also with the medical examiner's office, they're trained if we were to ever have something that resulted in a mass fatality situation, then they're trained to come in and assist us in dealing with if we had, a large number of deceased individuals.
Now, the one thing that I started working for the public health department a few months ago, and I really absolutely enjoy it, and I'm blown away with how involved the public health department is with not just providing services to the community, but how involved we are with other agencies. I noticed that you work a lot with the hospital, you work a lot with the fire departments. What other agencies do you work with, and what just some examples, and what are you doing with them? If you want to tackle that one, John?
One of the things we work with is the local emergency management with the county.
Okay.
Mary Jane Springer, we work closely with them. We work with law enforcement, we work with fire and rescue, we work with the hospitals. Janelle spends a lot of time going to nursing homes, providing immunizations there and education, places like that, assisted living places. And so we work with, whether it's them or non-governmental agencies such as Salvation Army. We love working with the Salvation Army. They provide a lot of services to our county, so we partner with them. So whether it's someone like Salvation Army or the medical, like Summit or Little Colorado, or we look at other agencies like fire and rescue and law enforcement, some of those first responders. And so when there's a large event, we have to be coordinated. We have to know how each other works, what our response capabilities are, how we work and how we integrate in an overall large response. And so by being integrated, by working with each other, that's how we have that knowledge and relationship with each other.
I know I have a background in fire service, and we had training with like training, and then I ended up coming to public health, and I've seen what the training schedule for emergency preparedness, and it is pretty in depth. I mean, you guys train, and I'm glad to hear that you guys take it very seriously. And I don't know if in other public health departments are as this involved as you guys are, not just in the community and the agencies, but in the training aspect of things.
We're on this mountain, and if something happens, we're on our own for a while.
That makes
so
sense.
we look at it from that perspective. So how do we work with each other for however long it takes for help to arrive, whatever the situation is, whatever the emergency or disaster is. And so by training, it provides that avenue to get to know each other, to work together, and in the event of a real disaster, we'll respond together.
Well, I know that one of the recent things that happened this year was the Ebola, and I actually had it come across my desk that the conference for Ebola that you guys put on and did a marvelous job. I mean, that was something that was put together because Ebola was so fresh and so new. I mean, you guys took it around and had that conference in what, 2 weeks prep time?
Right.
And how successful was that?
It was very successful in that public health took the role in explaining what Ebola is, what's it take to manage it, what is it like, what does it do, how do we prepare for it, how do we protect ourselves, how do we get our hospitals ready and our response capabilities ready, from receiving the phone call to the response to the working with the laboratory specimens, isolation, moving them to a facility, and if unsuccessful treatment, what happens when they pass. It's the whole spectrum. And so public health takes that lead because Ebola's never been on the mountain before. We don't know about that. That's not something we look at every day. So public health, all of us, we took that role and we put the conference together, invited our partners. Many of our tribal partners came. The hospitals around tribal lands came. Our local hospitals came. Emergency management was there. Fire, safety, those were there. But also a different group of people came from, let's say, the other side of things. What happens when they pass away? They need to know, our mortuaries or funeral homes need to know, how do they handle it? Mm-hmm. Just like how do we handle a living person? How do we handle the deceased? With care and dignity, but also protecting themselves. So we had to train everyone. And so public health together, we worked at providing that training and that resources and come together with a collective plan to work together and how can we all do it safely.
It sounds like you left no stone unturned when you were looking at all the possibilities of what people needed to be trained on. That's comforting.
Well, part of the job of public health is to do it and do it well. We often take the lead in those. And so Janelle, she works very hard in making sure that no stone is left unturned in her programs. And each of the programs work together. We're interrelated, we're interlinked. And so when one does something, we're all together. We do it together.
That is so important. And it's so nice to know that in the community that we live in today that we have a top-notch public health department, and it shows. It absolutely does. I see it internally, and I didn't realize all the public health departments that I was using before I became part of public health, and I was like, oh wow, that's what they offer, and that's what they offer. So again, I'm so excited that I was able to have you guys on the show.
Thank you.
And we discussed, this. It's Public Health Week. Do you guys know the week that Public Health Week is? By any chance, is it the second week of April? I think so. I think it's the second week of April.
All right.
We'll have that on a board, and we'll talk about it. I guess Arizona Department of, or is it a national? Is Public Week
Public
national?
Health, National Public Health Week.
It's National Public Health Week. We'll let people go to their website. We'll put them forward to that. But as far as Navajo County Public Health Service District, you guys are doing a great job, and thank them because they're doing a wonderful job, and they're everywhere, and it's just such a blessing to be able to have a health department that has our back. We'll be right back with Amy Stradling next. Thank you very much. Welcome back to Safe and Sound. Joining me now is Amy Stradling, the Home Visitation Coordinator and Community Health Program Manager from the Navajo County Public Health Services District. Welcome, Amy.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you're here.
Me too.
So when I had John and Janelle, your sister, on here before you, and we discussed more of the Emergency Preparedness Bureau side of public health, and you're in the educational home side. What is that side? Do you know?
The community education programs.
Okay, more so that. Okay, and what do you oversee?
Home visitation coordination. So I don't do home visits. I work with agencies such as North Country Healthcare, Summit Healthcare, Early Head Start, several of the programs that do home visitation programs. And I see what their needs are in the community, what training they're interested in, as well as what their parents need and what trends they're seeing in the community.
Oh wow, that's a lot of work because there's a lot of those people out there.
Yeah.
There's like how many Head Starts out there just alone?
There is 4 that have early Head Starts, but once we pertain the training to what the home visitors need, then we open it up to community members as well.
Oh wow.
So our training is very well attended through the
sure.
home visitation program.
What's an example of training that you offer?
We've done on domestic violence, on early brain development, parenting skills, understanding the importance of play, early literacy,
Oh wow.
oral health, baby tooth decay, child passenger safety. So
Okay.
the list goes on and on. We've offered several.
Now, what other programs are on that side of the bureau that you can
I
think
also
of?
manage the Community Health Grant, which is a part of the White Mountain Fire and Life Safety. So with that program, we work with the fire departments, offering Battle of the Belts. So we go around and do a pre-survey at the schools on their seatbelt use. Then we do some education or encourage the schools to do education. So a lot of times it's run through the student councils. They do PSA contests, poster contests, different things on motor vehicle safety. And then we go back and do a post survey to see if the seatbelt usage rate has increased. So that's one of the things that we do. We work on the cyberbullying campaign presently with that. We do car seat education, car seat checks, several different things through that program, as well as matter of balance and classes for the elderly. There's the nutrition program in that bureau. There's vital records that I believe John mentioned. There is the oral health program that does the screening and varnishing for
And they go to schools.
0 to 5. Mm-hmm.
They go to, I know they go to my daughter's
Head
school.
Starts and
Yeah.
preschools to offer the fluoride varnishing free of charge. They've now started teledentistry, so they can do the screening to see what's going on and send parents home notification if there's any concerns. The women, infants, and children is in that bureau. I'm trying to think.
Tobacco.
Teen pregnancy prevention and tobacco and chronic disease.
It's a lot.
So we do offer a lot.
And you guys go out, you're involved in the community, and you hand these people this information. You give it to them. You provide it for them in whether classes or projects that you put on or events. I know that when I was with White Mountain Fire and Life Safety, you were very involved with us, and so you work with a lot of other agencies out there to be able to offer this information to everybody, so nobody's left out.
Through partnerships and coalitions and collaboration, we can reach a lot wider populations. So it makes it really good because there's only 2 of us in our program under the multiple grants. So
now, when you talk about cooperation and collaboration, one of the things coming up is the second Friday, or what is that?
It's on April 17th.
Okay.
And it's Fairy Tale Friday. With home visitation, what we really want to do is help the families see that we're here for their needs. Our target age group is 0 to 5, connecting them with those resources and letting them see that even though there's multiple home visitation agencies, that we collaborate closely to ensure their needs are met. So whether they need breastfeeding assistance or car seat check or just somebody to talk to, we're here for them. It used to be that home visitation was kind of for specific groups, but now it's really opened up. So there's no income guidelines on a lot of the programs. It doesn't matter if it's your first child or your 4th child. A lot of times we may just need that support because children don't come with those owner's manuals and every child's different.
Oh, absolutely.
So we decided there's a National Health Week called the Week of the Young Child. And so we decided what a good way to celebrate our young children and let them come together and kind of promote early literacy. So we titled it Fairy Tale Friday. First Things First will be there with several other programs, the fluoride varnishing. WIC will be there enrolling clients into their program, talking about the importance of breastfeeding and good nutrition during pregnancy and the early child years. There's several books being given away to promote the early literacy. A car seat check event will be a part of it. So it's really geared towards young children and their families. And it's a free event. It's 9 to 12 on April 17th at the Winslow Elks Lodge.
Okay, awesome. That was nice of them to open up their doors for you guys.
Yes, and we really appreciate it. They did it free of charge. They're going to have the tables and chairs set up for us, so that was a great partnership with them.
Now, have you done this Fairy Tale Friday before?
We have. The past 2 years we've done it in Holbrook. So the first year it was Fairy Tale Friday, and last year it was Seussical Saturday in celebration of Dr. Seuss. So,
Oh, that's cool.
but we've always done it outdoors, and with our wind, we decided to look at an indoor location this year and open it up to Winslow. Those are kind of my target areas is Holbrook and Winslow. So we hope that everybody can come out. The community's been great to participate and donate, and
And they don't
hopefully it
need
is success.
to qualify. You don't need. It's not. You just said it's not income
No, and
specific.
we're really looking at the 0 to 5 population. However, no one will be turned away.
Okay.
So if
Okay.
they have older children, then they can come along as well. We're hoping it's kind of a fun family activity. There will be face painting and reading times and car seat checks and oral health varnishing.
I like the oral health thing. I mean, my daughter, I have two, but my youngest, who is 5 months old, almost 6 months, she'll be 6 months on the 4th. She just had her first teeth come out, and I'm thinking, how do I take care of those? I forgot. I have a 6-year-old. I don't remember. Do I start now?
Yep.
So it would be a good idea to go down to that and be able to ask the questions to the right people, because that's what they're there for. And it's not just Fairy Tale Friday that they can do this. They can come into the health departments at any time
Correct.
and do that. And we have how many health departments? Where are the location of the health departments? We can get that
The
out
main
there.
locations are Holbrook, Winslow, and Show Low, but they do have one in Heber, Snowflake, and Pine Top as well, specifically for WIC and some other programs. But the full health departments are in Holbrook, Winslow, and Show Low.
And people would be surprised at how much information you can actually get. I know that personally, I'm on WIC. I use WIC right now, and I was able to get books for my kids. And my daughter reads a book to my our baby little girl. It's awesome. I was able to get information that I needed from them and get on the I guess the nutrition part of the WIC, which is helpful for the next, I think it's the next year I can get on it, which is very nice. I did the same thing with my last daughter, and I was thankful for that. I know that I've used Vital Records, especially when my baby was born just recently, to get her birth certificate. And there's just, I've seen you with the car seat checks, and I know that we had you on the show about a year ago or a little bit more, and I realized, wow, I'm doing my car seat wrong. I read the directions, but I learned so much more. And so this is a really important thing that people actually need to take the time to, not, if they can't come to Fairy Tale Friday, come into the public health departments, find out what we have to offer them and what can be provided to them, because the information is endless and the help, is phenomenal. I know that WIC, when I had them, I used to use a pillow to breastfeed the baby when Audrey was little, and they're like, oh, well, we have this boppy, we can give you this boppy for free. And I was like, well, I'll take it for free. And I was like, gosh, if I would have known how different a boppy made it, I would have never used a pillow, because my back and everything, and that boppy was just like, oh my gosh, this is so much better. So public health makes places so much better. It makes, it's so much better for people. And I hope that people watching the show get that from what we're putting out there. And I can't thank you enough for making it so much better for the community and everything that you do, because you do a lot and you wear quite a few hats. So I hope that you guys will come out to the Winslow April 17th, you said?
Yes.
Fairy Tale Fridays, and check it out. And what was the times one more time?
9 to 12.
9 to 12. And thank you for watching Safe and Sound, and we will see you next month.